All right, let's just jump right in. If you're familiar with the dreaded 3 a.m. ceiling stare, you already know the drill. You toss, you turn, and eventually you reach for that little bottle on the nightstand, hoping for a quick fix. And if that sounds like you are definitely not alone. It's so tempting to just grab a sleep aid and pray tonight will be different. But here's the thing, not every sleep problem needs a pill, and these aids definitely don't all work the same way. In this explainer, we're going to unpack the actual science of sleep. We'll start with the most famous supplement out there so you can start making safer, way more effective choices for your own sleep health. So, what does melatonin actually do? To figure out why our current routine might be failing you, we really need to look at what this wildly popular supplement is doing inside your brain. I mean, it's literally everywhere now, gummies, teas, capsules, but there is a massive, widespread misunderstanding about its fundamental biological purpose. And here is the twist that kind of reframes everything you probably thought you knew. Melatonin does not actually knock you out. It's a hormone naturally produced by the pineal gland in your brain, and its main gig is simply to act as a biological time signal. Think of it as a whisper telling your body, hey, the sun's down, time to start winding down. It is absolutely not a traditional sedative that forces you into unconsciousness. It's just a cue. Your circadian rhythm naturally regulates this hormone based entirely on light exposure. During the day, when bright light hits your eyes, your brain completely suppresses melatonin. It just shuts it down. But after sunset, as things get darker, those levels slowly start to creep up. And the crucial window happens right around 2 to 3 hours before your normal bedtime. That's when production actually begins and peaks. It stays elevated all night and then drops right back off when morning rolls around. Now, before melatonin even enters the chat, your body's master clock is running the show. This is a tiny region in the hypothalamus called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, or SCN. Light hits your eyes, the SCN catches that data, and boom, it goes to work. It adjusts your sleep timing, drops your core body temperature, and signals the release of hormones. Melatonin's entire job is just to help synchronize this incredibly complex internal clock. Is more melatonin better? Since we know it's a timing signal and not some heavy-duty sleeping pill, we have to talk about the dosage myth. Be honest, if you're staring at a 10 milligram bottle in the pharmacy, logic tells you, hey, if 3 milligrams is good, 10 must be a total knockout, right? Well, actually, no. Higher doses are definitely not better. In reality, a tiny fraction of that, just 0.3 to 3 milligrams, is usually totally sufficient for most adults. Cramming in massive amounts won't make you sleep harder. It honestly just skyrockets your risk for side effects. We're talking morning grogginess, headaches, dizziness, and those wildly bizarre, vivid dreams that leave you feeling way more exhausted than when you actually went to bed. Because its real superpower is shifting your internal clock. Melatonin shines when you're dealing with circadian rhythm disorders. So if you're battling jet lag after a long flight, doing shift work, or dealing with a delayed sleep-wake phase where your whole cycle is pushed back, it's a fantastic tool. It's also super helpful for some older adults who just naturally produce less of the hormone as they age. But what if your problem isn't about timing at all? If you're dealing with chronic insomnia, your brain is likely fighting hyperarousal, sleep anxiety, or just poor habits. Melatonin can't fix that because, again, it's not a sedative. For chronic insomnia, the absolute gold standard preferred treatment is cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia, or CBTI, that actually gets right to the root behavioral and psychological triggers keeping you staring at the ceiling. Section 1. The Sleep Aid Toolbox, Beyond Melatonin. Let's look at what else people turn to when timing isn't the issue. When we look at prescription options, they work in radically different ways. Take benzodiazepines like temazepam. They dial up relaxation and dial down anxiety, but you have to watch out for heavy caveats like dependence, memory fuzziness, and fall risks. Then you've got Z-drugs, which have a different chemical makeup but hit those same brain receptors. But check out orexin antagonists. These take a beautifully different route. Instead of heavily sedating you, they just block orexin, which is the exact brain chemical that keeps you awake. By flipping off that awake switch, sleep happens much more naturally. I do want to pause for a second on a really crucial warning regarding those Z-drugs like Zolpidem. If you take these, you've got to be hyper-aware of complex sleep behaviors. We are talking about doing things while completely unconscious, sleepwalking, cooking full meals, or even sleep driving. No joke. If any of that happens, it requires immediate medical attention. It really proves just how powerfully these drugs are altering your brain chemistry. Now, what about the over-the-counter stuff? A lot of people grab antihistamines. Sure, they might make you drowsy, but your body builds tolerance to them incredibly fast. Plus, they are notorious for that heavy, dry mouth morning grogginess, where you need 3 coffees just to function. On the flip side, we have herbal supplements like valerian root or magnesium. People swear by them, but the reality is they aren't strictly regulated, the science is totally mixed, and they just aren't proven clinical treatments for true insomnia. And we absolutely can't ignore the hidden risks across all these aids. Older adults are incredibly sensitive to sedatives, making confusion and falls a huge danger. If you have undiagnosed sleep apnea, sedatives relax your airway muscles even more, making it significantly worse. And mixing any of these with alcohol? Just don't do it. Alcohol already wrecks your REM sleep, but when you combine it with sedatives, it creates some incredibly dangerous biological interactions. Section 2, the foundation. Sleep hygiene first. Before you even think about opening that medicine cabinet, you have to get your biological baseline in check. Look, you already know the drill. Cut the late-day caffeine, dim those glaring screens, and keep your bedroom cool, dark, and quiet. But actively combining these habits is what actually fine-tunes that internal master clock we talked about. Sticking to a rigorous, consistent sleep-wake schedule, getting regular exercise, just not right before bed, and skipping heavy midnight snacks, these are the real game changers. They fix sleep for most people without ever needing a single pill. That's it. If you nail all those habits perfectly and you're still dealing with loud snoring, breathing pauses, excessive daytime exhaustion, or chronic insomnia for over 3 months, it's time to see a specialist. A pill is just a Band-Aid at that point. Issues like acting out your dreams or severe restless legs need an actual medical evaluation, not a quick trip to the pharmacy. This brings us to the absolute most vital takeaway of this entire explainer. Sleep medications do not replace normal sleep. Period. Being chemically unconscious, like when you take a heavy sedative or drink alcohol, is fundamentally different from biologically restorative sleep. Real sleep is this beautifully regulated, active process where your brain clears out toxins, your heart recovers, and your immune system reboots. Sedation just turns off the lights. Real sleep brings in the entire cleaning crew. Ultimately, the goal is not simply to become unconscious. It is to achieve healthy, restorative sleep that supports your brain, heart, immune system, and overall well-being. Sleep is one of the most incredible things your body does. Melatonin and other aids are just tools, and they only work when used right. So ask yourself, are you just trying to force your brain to shut down every night? Or are you finally ready to align your biology for truly restorative, life-changing health?